Britain has just linked its M270 multiple launch rocket systems to drones through the new Asgard command network, a move that delivers near-surgical strikes within seconds of detection. This integration marks a decisive shift in battlefield technology, allowing the UK to double its lethality and dramatically shorten the time from target identification to impact. What's remarkable is that this breakthrough draws directly from Ukraine's frontline experience. The Asgard system is not just a technological upgrade, it's a response to lessons learned on the modern battlefield. In this report, we'll trace how Ukraine's frontline hacks became Britain's battlefield edge. How did a war zone become the most advanced testing ground for military innovation in decades? The Ukraine effect, a battlefield laboratory for the future. Ukraine's experience on the battlefield has become a defining case study for modern warfare, influencing how militaries worldwide approach technology and tactics. The conflict has forced rapid adaptation and innovation, turning Ukrainian units into agile experimenters. As the UK's Ministry of Defence observed in its Strategic Defence Review, Ukraine is a live battlefield laboratory, providing real-world data that has accelerated the evolution of Western defence strategies. Central to this transformation is the way Ukrainian forces have fused commercial off-the-shelf drones at a fraction of traditional reconnaissance platforms with digital command systems. Teams deploy these drones for real-time reconnaissance and artillery correction, creating a dynamic link between sensor and shooter. Rather than relying on expensive, custom-built platforms, Ukrainian operators modify readily available drones, equipping them with cameras and explosives. These FPV, first-person view, drones provide live visual feeds, allowing operators to guide strikes with remarkable precision. When integrated with digital targeting platforms such as the Kropyva command system, this approach has enabled Ukrainian artillery units to identify, confirm, and strike targets in a matter of seconds. Minister of Defence and NATO analysts initially underestimated the potential of these low-cost drones against Russian electronic warfare and armoured units. The prevailing assumption was that sophisticated jamming and counter-drone systems would neutralise such inexpensive tools. However, Ukrainian adaptations quickly proved otherwise. Operators countered jamming by flying at low altitudes, shifting frequencies, and employing alternative navigation methods. The result was a resilient, flexible drone fleet that consistently delivered actionable intelligence and guided munitions onto high-value targets. The impact was clear. Ukrainian forces could strike ammunition depots, command posts, and moving armoured columns with efficiency once thought unattainable outside well-funded militaries. The sensor-to-shooter cycle, once a process mired by delays and bureaucracy, was compressed dramatically. In traditional Western doctrine, the time from spotting a target to firing could stretch into minutes, as information passed through multiple layers. Ukraine's battlefield improvisations, powered by streamlined digital networks, cut these delays to seconds. This acceleration, often called kill chain acceleration, allowed Ukrainian units to exploit fleeting opportunities and react to enemy maneuvers with unprecedented speed. The effectiveness of these tactics did not go unnoticed. General Alexis G. Grinkowicz, Supreme Allied Commander Europe, emphasized, "The speed of technological adaptation shown by Ukraine should be the benchmark for NATO countries." The lesson was clear. Rapid integration of new technologies and digital platforms could shift the balance on the battlefield, even against a numerically superior adversary. British defence officials recognised that Ukraine's approach was not only innovative, but scalable. The use of FPV drones for immediate battle damage assessment gave commanders instant feedback, enabling continuous adjustment of fire missions and reducing wasted munitions. The combination of low-cost hardware, agile tactics, and fast decision-making challenged the notion that only high-budget solutions could provide a technological edge. This recognition led directly to the development of the UK's Asgard command network, Inspired by Ukraine's Kropyva system, Asgard integrates sensors, surveillance assets, real-time data analytics, and weapon platforms into a cohesive structure. The goal is to replicate the rapid, digitally driven targeting cycles seen in Ukraine, but with the added robustness and scale of British resources. Ongoing NATO exercises now test these concepts, refining the integration of drones, automated data systems, and artillery in live scenarios. The lessons are clear. Adaptability and speed are as critical as firepower. Ukraine's ability to innovate under pressure has fundamentally altered British military thinking. The focus has shifted from simply upgrading existing platforms to reimagining how those platforms connect, communicate, and act. By observing Ukraine's response to electronic warfare, logistical challenges, and the realities of a high-intensity conflict, British planners have adopted a more flexible, tech-driven approach to battlefield operations. This evolution sets the stage for a new chapter in artillery warfare. Britain is now applying these lessons to its own arsenal, seeking to transform legacy systems with the very innovations proven on Ukraine's front lines. The question is no longer whether such adaptation is possible, but how far these changes can go when paired with British engineering and doctrine. What happens when you merge a decades-old rocket system with cutting-edge drone technology? The M270 Evolution, Britain's leap into precision warfare, Britain's M270 multiple launch rocket system stands at the center of a major transformation in artillery warfare, propelled by the integration of advanced digital command networks and drone technology. Originally designed for Cold War-era massed rocket barrages, the M270 has been re-engineered to meet the demands of rapid precision warfare. The modernization effort is not just about updating hardware. It is about embedding the system into a digital ecosystem that enables faster, more accurate strikes. The most significant leap comes from the integration of the Ministry of Defence's Asgard command system. Asgard acts as the digital backbone, linking sensors, analytics, and weapon systems to supercharge the M270's fire control. The platform uses AI-driven analytics to process live data from reconnaissance drones, satellites, and other surveillance assets. This information flows directly to artillery operators, who can now make targeting decisions in a fraction of the time previously required. The system's design goal is to compress decision cycles that once took hours into just minutes, a capability demonstrated during recent NATO exercises in Estonia. Upgrades to the M270's mobility and survivability support this new operational tempo. Modernized chassis components allow the vehicle to traverse rough terrain and reposition quickly, enhancing its ability to avoid counter-battery fire. However, the real shift is in how targeting data is managed and acted upon. Drones feed live coordinates into Asgard, allowing unguided rockets to adjust in flight for pinpoint hits. This process, observed during field tests in Estonia and reported by Army recognition, has enabled British artillery crews to achieve response times of under 2 minutes from target identification to launch. The Asgard system's developers report that these improvements could increase combat effectiveness by up to 10 times over previous methods. This digital integration directly addresses a persistent challenge in artillery warfare: the fleeting nature of high-value targets. Enemy command posts, mobile artillery, and armored columns often move or disperse before traditional fire missions can be executed. By connecting drones and sensors to the M270 through Asgard, British forces can strike while targets are exposed, minimizing the window for enemy evasion. The reduction in the sensor-to-shooter cycle means that opportunities are seized in real time, not lost to bureaucratic delays. One of the key advantages of this upgrade is the ability to maximize the effectiveness of existing munitions. Rather than relying solely on expensive, precision-guided rockets, the system leverages real-time drone feeds and Asgard's targeting algorithms to guide standard, unguided rockets with remarkable accuracy. This approach reduces operational costs while maintaining precision, a lesson drawn directly from Ukraine's battlefield experience. AI within the Asgard platform prioritizes threats and recommends optimal firing solutions, reducing operator workload and minimizing the risk of human error. Field exercises in Estonia have provided concrete evidence of these advancements. Army recognitions reports highlight how British crews using the upgraded M270 and Asgard system consistently delivered strikes within 2 minutes of target acquisition, a dramatic improvement over legacy systems that often required 15 to 30 minutes. These results illustrate not only the technical success of the integration, but also its practical impact on combat readiness and response. Britain's approach to the M270 Evolution reflects a broader shift in military doctrine. The focus is no longer just on firepower or platform survivability, but on the connectivity and speed of the entire kill chain. The Asgard system's role as a digital command hub ensures interoperability with other NATO assets and paves the way for future upgrades, including AI-guided loitering munitions and electronic warfare drones designed to counter adversary jamming. The transformation of the M270 is not happening in isolation. It relies on a network of collaborations, field trials, and continuous feedback from both industry and frontline operators. The next stage of this evolution depends on how these partnerships, spanning research labs, private defense firms, and multinational exercises, work together to refine and deploy these capabilities at scale. From Wiltshire to Eastern Europe, the collaboration driving innovation. Across the UK's defence landscape, a coordinated effort is underway to translate battlefield innovation into operational capability. From research labs in Wiltshire to Exercise Hedgehog in Estonia and Poland, collaboration is the driving force behind Britain's leap into digitally enabled precision warfare. This network brings together the Ministry of Defence, leading defence contractors and NATO partners to ensure that new technologies are not only developed, but also integrated and tested in real-world scenarios. The Ministry of Defence sits at the centre of this initiative, orchestrating partnerships that accelerate the adoption of digital targeting and autonomous systems. BAE Systems leads the effort to integrate live drone feeds and targeting data directly into the M270's fire control, allowing for near-instantaneous adjustments to rocket trajectories. Thales, meanwhile, focuses on developing the AI analytics and secure communications networks that underpin the ASGARD command system. Their combined work ensures that British artillery platforms can receive, process, and act on intelligence from multiple sensors, even when operating alongside NATO allies with different equipment and protocols. Field testing is a critical component of this collaborative approach. During Exercise Hedgehog in Estonia and Poland, British forces have put the Asgard system through its paces in a series of demanding scenarios. These exercises are designed to stress test the integration of drones, loitering munitions, and long-range rocket systems under conditions that closely mirror those found in active conflict zones. Asgard's performance during these trials has been notable for its ability to rapidly link reconnaissance assets with strike platforms, compressing the time between target detection and engagement to a matter of minutes. General Sir Rowley Walker, Chief of the General Staff, emphasized the significance of this development, stating, "Asgard doubles our lethality and exponentially reduces the time to see, decide, and strike." The interoperability of these systems is constantly evaluated in the multinational environment of NATO exercises. Each participating nation brings its own platforms and procedures, requiring British engineers and operators to adapt Asgard and the M270 to work seamlessly with Allied assets. For example, joint testing with the Dart 250 loitering munition has demonstrated how real-time data from unmanned systems can be integrated into British fire missions, expanding both the reach and responsiveness of artillery units. These exercises have highlighted both the progress made and the technical challenges that remain, particularly in synchronizing data flows and communications across diverse equipment. Artificial intelligence is a central feature of this new command architecture. AI-guided reconnaissance drones not only locate targets, but also analyze terrain and movement patterns, feeding actionable intelligence directly into ASGARD's targeting algorithms. This enables British artillery crews to engage moving or concealed threats with a level of speed and accuracy that was previously unattainable. The integration of loitering munitions further enhances operational flexibility, allowing for continuous surveillance and the ability to strike at the optimal moment. In practice, these capabilities mean that enemy formations detected by drones can be targeted and hit by M270 rockets before they have time to disperse or seek cover. The foundation for these advancements is laid in research facilities such as those in Wiltshire, where engineers work with data and video from Ukraine's drone artillery operations. By studying footage of Ukrainian units overcoming Russian electronic warfare, British teams have refined backup communications protocols and navigation systems to ensure resilience against jamming. This direct application of lessons learned has strengthened the reliability of British platforms in contested electromagnetic environments, a priority highlighted in the UK's Strategic Defence Review. Electronic warfare simulations during Exercise Hedgehog have further validated these improvements. British drones and artillery systems were challenged to operate in GPS-denied conditions, relying on alternative targeting methods and hardened communication links. The results showed a marked reduction in mission disruption and improved strike success rates, confirming the value of the new digital architecture under realistic threat conditions. The impact of these collaborative efforts is already evident. During recent field trials, British artillery units equipped with ASGARD achieved response times for long-range strikes that were less than half those of legacy systems. The increased precision and tempo represent a decisive shift away from traditional massed fires toward a model that prioritizes agility, accuracy, and survivability. The partnership between the Ministry of Defence, industry, and NATO allies continues to drive the evolution of these systems, with each exercise and laboratory breakthrough feeding into a cycle of continuous improvement. Yet, at the core of this transformation lies the influence of Ukraine's battlefield experience. The tactics and improvisations that have shaped the UK's digital artillery revolution began with the practical realities faced by Ukrainian forces. The next step involves understanding how these lessons are being scaled and adapted for the British arsenal, and how innovations first tested with improvised drones are now reshaping the future of Western artillery. Scaling Ukraine's playbook. Lessons turned into strategy. Scaling Ukraine's playbook into British strategy begins with a commitment that reaches far beyond tactical imitation. The UK Ministry of Defence has allocated £1.35 billion to digitise its artillery forces, with the Asgard command system at the centre of this transformation. British planners have studied the Ukrainian approach to integrating low-cost drones for artillery correction and battle damage assessment, recognising its potential to reshape not just battlefield outcomes, but the entire structure of modern fire support. The initial British response to Ukraine's drone artillery tactics was cautious. The Ministry of Defence relied heavily on precision-guided missiles and traditional targeting models, as outlined in earlier strategic defence reviews. However, ongoing analysis of Ukrainian operations revealed that inexpensive commercial drones, when networked and paired with digital command systems, could deliver real-time intelligence and targeting at a fraction of the cost. This realization led to a strategic pivot. Instead of relying exclusively on high-cost munitions, the UK would adapt the sensor-to-shooter model that allowed Ukraine to compress targeting cycles and maximize artillery efficiency. Central to this adaptation is the integration of AI-enhanced analytics within Asgard. Rather than simply relaying drone footage to human operators, Asgard's algorithms automatically process incoming data to identify, classify, and prioritize targets based on threat level and opportunity. This capability is documented in the British Army's AI roadmap, which highlights the growing role of machine learning in accelerating battlefield decision-making. By automating these processes, the UK reduces the risk of information overload and ensures that high-value targets are engaged first, even during periods of intense operational tempo. The British Army's approach also includes automating trajectory corrections for unguided rockets. Drawing from Ukrainian methods, drone feeds are now directly linked to the M270 MLRS, enabling rapid adjustments in real time. This advancement allows standard rockets to achieve levels of accuracy previously reserved for costly precision-guided systems. During recent field tests in Estonia, these upgrades delivered measurable results. Missions that once took 15 to 30 minutes now execute in under 2 minutes from target identification to launch. This acceleration not only increases the tempo of operations, but also minimizes the window in which enemy forces can relocate or deploy countermeasures. The UK's scaling of Ukraine's tactics extends to battle damage assessment. Real-time drone footage is streamed back to command centers, allowing immediate evaluation of strike effects and eliminating the delays associated with traditional reporting. This tighter feedback loop ensures that follow-up fires are only ordered when necessary, conserving munitions and increasing overall efficiency. The process transforms artillery from a blunt instrument into a responsive, data-driven asset. A further innovation is the integration of loitering munitions into the Asgard system. The Modini Dart 250, a jet-powered suicide drone, is now paired with British artillery platforms, providing both reconnaissance and strike capabilities. This system allows operators to maintain persistent surveillance over contested areas and launch precision attacks when targets appear. The combination of AI-driven target prioritization, automated fire control, and loitering munitions creates a layered offensive network capable of adapting to rapidly changing battlefield conditions. These changes are not theoretical. Field exercises and multinational drills have demonstrated their effectiveness under realistic conditions. The UK's adoption of Ukraine's Playbook, refined and scaled for modern networked warfare, has doubled the lethality of its artillery systems while exponentially reducing the time required to see, decide, and strike. The result is a force that can respond to threats with unprecedented speed and accuracy, leveraging both legacy platforms and cutting-edge technology. As Britain continues to refine this strategy, the implications extend beyond current conflicts. The lessons learned on the battlefields of Ukraine and the innovations now embedded in British doctrine are shaping the future of warfare. This evolution is not just about immediate tactical advantage. It sets the terms for how future wars will be fought, with digital networks, AI, and rapid adaptation at the core. The question now is how these advances will influence the broader trajectory of military strategy as new threats and technologies emerge. Britain's partnership with Ukraine is not just about immediate battlefield advantage. It is about building a defense ecosystem that responds to evolving threats. By integrating low-cost innovation with advanced military systems, the UK and its allies are prioritizing agility and rapid adaptation. Asgard's roots in Ukraine's Kropyva model show how frontline lessons can reshape national doctrine and procurement, turning operational insights into lasting capability. The battlefield now serves as a testing ground for strategies and technologies that will define future conflicts. If you found this deep dive useful, hit subscribe for more defense tech analysis. How else might today reshape tomorrow's warfare? Stay with us as we uncover the next wave of battlefield robotics and AI-driven defense.